Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. I'm super excited to give you guys a new update. I know it's been a little while. I've been working on a lot of really cool stuff inside of crypto, just haven't had the time to be able to make an update. So for today's video, I am going to be breaking down what I think is genuinely going to be the most profitable investment going into this next cycle, looking at what chain is probably going to end up making the most profit, what altcoins are coming up that are actually built on this that we could look to make a little bit of money on. I really like to be early to projects before they unfold. Because of that, some people don't really like the things that I talk about, but at the end of the day, I think that this is what's going to make the most money, and that's what I'm always looking to do inside of my portfolio. So anybody that follows along, I think is going to do well. So for today's video, let's break down the ecosystem I think is most prime for upside, because I think we're all about to make a lot of long-term profit very soon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, as we're jumping into this video, I did want to take the time to actually read a thread that I made, because this is going to be really why I think that there's going to be so much value made inside of this market. When we're talking about cryptos that have provided a lot of gains, when we're talking about prior cycles and what has been kind of that big factor that drove a lot of adoption, in 2017 it was Ethereum. Ethereum came on board, it allowed for us to build cryptocurrencies, have these ICOs and things, and we saw so much new value enter the market because of that. Now, inside of the last cycle, it was more niche. We saw DeFi, we saw NFTs, we saw things like that. But for the most part, it wasn't nearly as powerful as what we saw in 2017. When we're getting into this next cycle, we literally have like 100 different versions of Ethereums. There's all these layer ones, there's all these layer twos, there's all these tokens built on each of them. And this is really why I think that this cycle will be like 2017. Anybody that's bridging, they're trading cross-chain, they're buying into some of these low-cap altcoins in these ecosystems, they're literally going to make a financial fortune. And so I wanted to break down why I think that PulseChain of all of the layer ones has such a unique value proposition in comparison with the rest of the market. Now, right off the bat, guys, let's jump in here. And let's talk a little bit about the value of Hex and PulseChain. Now, in 2020, Hex was listed on the secondary markets. Many in the community were against it, and it really pissed off the OG Bitcoin and Ethereum whales because of Richard Hart's marketing strategy. He literally sold it as being a better version of Bitcoin, and then also a better version of Ethereum. And so at the time of crypto being, 2018, 2019, when he actually came out with this sell for Hex, that was a point where a lot of the Bitcoin whales and Ethereum whales pretty much dominated the whole market. So if you angered any of them, your chances of getting, inside of those little circles are pretty much obsolete. And that's what we ended up seeing. Now, because of this, Hex was gatekept from participating in much of the normal crypto world. CZ from Binance, who obviously just had to step down, he wouldn't list them on CoinMarketCap the entire last cycle. Hex did 10,000x in value and was a top 10 crypto by market cap for a long time in that last cycle. And people don't even realize it because they were purposely trying to hide it. They didn't want anybody to know this. And, I was part of that same group. I kind of thought Hex was a meme coin. I didn't think much of it. Now we ended up seeing the launch of PulseChain. Now, PulseChain was marketed as being like the biggest free airdrop in history. They were going to fork the entire Ethereum chain. Anybody that was holding cryptos in an ERC20 wallet actually got them duplicated over on the PulseChain network. So in theory, was the biggest free airdrop ever. You were able to take those cryptos, convert them back into PulseChain, and we ended up seeing that layer one finally go live. Now, the difference was in every single one of these cryptos, you have the venture capitalists that come in. They raise, a couple million or whatever it is, maybe a few 100,000, and then you go to the seed funding, you go through a few private rounds with other, big money players, maybe their friends, maybe their family, something like that. Then you go to a public sell, and the public gets a small amount of that pie, and usually they get dumped on. That's the way that most of these companies fund their projects. Now, the thing with PulseChain is it's different. There was no giant fundraising for venture capitalists and seed funding and whitelists and things like that. It was a first come, first serve basis. If you wanted it, you deposited money into an address, and then all of that $28 million was given to charity. So there really was no promise value. Everybody that was actually investing into this was actually just giving to a charity. And it was a really cool narrative that we watched play out. I sacrificed for PulseChain. Didn't know if anything would ever come of it. But now that we're getting to this point in our cycle, we saw more gatekeeping, even after PulseChain. They still wouldn't list it on centralized exchanges. They especially wouldn't list it on any of the indexes like CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, and so it was more of the same. Now, because of this, they literally created the most decentralized chain in crypto. They blocked it. They didn't allow it to be on any of their centralized exchanges. All the Ethereum and Bitcoin whales were shunning it from the community, trying to phase it out. And so they had no other option but literally build an alternative. Now, inside of the bear market, when all of the centralized exchanges and lenders went bankrupt, we saw Celsius, we saw Terra Luna, we saw Voyager, and all of these other companies went bankrupt, right? During that period, and really for the following 2 years prior to that, Richard Hart, he'd been calling it. He'd been talking about how everybody needed to get their funds out of these sort of markets, how you need to stay away from centralized exchanges. You need to move your funds on chain itself. And then when all of those exchanges ended up going bankrupt, FTX collapsed, Terra Luna collapsed, all of that stuff with Celsius, this is where we started to see people waking up. Really the truth that had been in front of their faces the whole entire time. Now, over the last 6 months, we've seen a significant amount of adoption taking place inside of PulseChain. What we're looking at here, after the sacrifice, after the launch of the secondary market, we went into the bear market, middle of the bear market and the ending of the bear market. Richard Hart got sued by the SEC, which is just a slap lawsuit. He will end up winning that, in my opinion, if you look into the details of it. Now, when we're looking at this, the TVL of this market is breaking out and going into a new all-time high. The centralized exchange to decentralized exchange ratio is only 0.2%. That means that only 0.2% of the tokens inside of PulseChain are trading on centralized exchanges. By default, that makes it the most decentralized chain in all of crypto. The difference is it's the most decentralized chain in all of crypto, and it's got a skyrocketing TVL. The TVL is literally sending it into a new all-time high right now. Now, with the birth of this new layer 1, we saw all of these new markets getting added. We saw PulseX, which is the Uniswap competitor. We saw Inc., which is a rewards token that Richard Hart created. All of these are starting to break out and blow up again. Hex did 10,000x in value in the last cycle, guys. It was a top 10 crypto by market cap. It started from nothing and became that because of the community and the person leading the way. Now, with this cycle, we literally have the potential of hundreds of different hexes to be created and added to the PulseChain network. It's the same reason why Ethereum blew up so much in that 2016 and 17 bull run. When you have cryptos that can add and build increase liquidity inside of the overall chain, it increases the chain and the network effect tenfold, 100x, 1000x, whatever it will be. We don't know. Maybe you won't find 1000x buying the Pulse token itself, but the amount of 1000x's that are going to be blowing up in the PulseChain market are going to be absolutely insane, in my opinion. We're already seeing it right now. There's almost no competition inside of the PulseChain network. All we're seeing is rocketing TVL, all of this new money coming inside of the chain. Because it's not on centralized exchanges, it's not like, oh, you have to be in China, or oh, you have to be an American to be able to buy this. Nope, this is on the blockchain, baby. Anybody can buy this stuff. Go all in, 100x long. I'm telling you guys, I'm joking when I say that, but what I'm being serious about is that in my 8 years of crypto, I've just not seen any type of opportunity quite like this. We have an explosion of new money. We have the institutional cycle. The institutions are going to have retail investors to sell and take profit into. They need their exit liquidity. What do you think? They're just not going to shill it to all of the mainstream news outlets? This is the institutional cycle. We are going to see 100 different Ethereums blowing up. And when I look at what is the most decentralized chain in crypto, as much as you guys will probably want to disagree, or some of you will, I'm not saying everybody will, a lot of people will disagree, but the facts don't lie, and the truth is on the blockchain. It's not like I'm just making this stuff up. All of this is verifiable evidence on the blockchain for anybody to see, and when we're comparing it to other cryptos, there's nothing that has raised money like this. There's nothing that stayed decentralized like this. There's nothing that has the community effect like this, and I'm speaking from all of my experience from every community I've ever been a part of. I was there in early 2016 with Bitcoin. I was there for early Ethereum in 2016. I saw how that whole community unfolded. I was early to Solana. I was early to Terra Luna. I was early to Phantom. I was early to Chainlink. I was early to Arbitrum, Metis, Optimism. All of these cryptos and communities I've been a part of from a long time, I've never seen one of those nearly as engaged as what I see inside of the PulseChain network. I really am, bringing this video because I'm so passionate that I found such a rare opportunity in crypto. I don't often stumble upon these. I looked at Arbitrum, Metis. Those are some that we've talked a lot about lately. I have a lot of those same beliefs around those. But if I gotta, give my honest belief about what I think could actually be bigger, I think that people are fading PulseChain, and with it actually being the only truly decentralized chain out there where none of the tokens are on centralized exchanges, to me, that's a huge value because you're not competing with American markets or Chinese markets. You're literally tapping into the global enterprise of the whole blockchain. There is not anywhere that can have more money flood into it than what a truly decentralized blockchain can. And I've always believed that that was the value of crypto. Whatever stays decentralized, whatever stays liquidity off, centralized exchanges and on-chain, those are going to be the ones that see the most value upside. And when you compare all of the layer ones, all of the layer twos, all of the cryptos in the market, there's only one that's truly decentralized that has this significant amount of TVL. Comparing it to all the cryptos, coming over here and looking at this on DeFi Llama, we can see that if we come and look at all of the chains, PulseChain's ranked 15. It's above Cardano. Cardano has like 10 times the market cap. It's right behind, really close to some of these other competing blockchains. I firmly believe that PulseChain is going to find itself inside of that top 10 to top 5 stance, and I wouldn't be surprised if it found itself all the way up in the 3 or 4 range. I think that it has that type of value. But the difference is when we're looking at Ethereum and Tron and BSC and Arbitrum and Solana and Ton and Polygon, Avalanche, Optimism, and all of these chains, none of them are as decentralized as PulseChain, and it's like not even close. Every one of these had some type of VC capital raises. You have whales that are so enriched holding these, and they're going to dump on everybody. And as the market has proven to take profit over decentralization, as every one of these tokens have the majority of their supply existing inside of centralized exchanges, there's going to be a huge narrative unfolding about, hey, what's the real decentralized alternative that we can use? I don't want to get burned by a centralized exchange like I did in the last cycle. All of these ones are pretty much, dominated by those. PulseChain's the only option, and that's once again why I reiterate my point, why I think that this is going to be so valuable. I'm telling you guys, I've done a lot in crypto. I've made a lot of money. Hex doing 10,000x in the last cycle caught a lot of people off guard, including myself. And it did 10,000x in the last cycle without being listed on any centralized exchanges, without being listed on CoinMarketCap, without being listed on CoinGecko, all 100% organic grassroots. So can you imagine what the whole layer one is going to do paired with that exact same community? I've never seen a more thriving community than PulseChain, and it's not even close. The original Bitcoin community, you could argue like that, but as they moved towards centralization, as all of the tokens have now found themselves inside of, BlackRock's institutional custody and all of these other different corporations and banks and whatnot, it's ruined what was decentralization. It's not decentralized anymore. Hex and the rest of these markets are truly decentralized. And I think that that's the value that we're seeing. Even though Hex got absolutely demolished in the bear market, I think that the opportunity is absolutely massive with these, considering from where we're at right now. If you buy right now and just we go to the all-time high of the last cycle, which I definitely think is doable, you're looking at 66x. This was a top 10 crypto in the last cycle. Nothing has changed fundamentally about this project other than they added an entire layer one to back it to Hex. I can't continue to reword it any different. I'm just telling you guys that it's one of those once in a lifetime type of investments where you have conviction about something. You might not know why you have conviction about something, but there's like this deep inner pull where you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be insanely valuable. I have that with this, and I can't really explain it. Like I said, guys, I've been a part of every community in crypto. I've literally made so much money being early to all of these narratives. And as much as people hate Hex and PulseChain, I have literally became a maxi because I do think that this has such rare upside potential. And it's not so much Hex. It's not so much, the PulseChain token itself or, this Pulse token itself that I think has so much upside potential. It's the whole ecosystem, right? Buying the low cap cryptos built on it, because this is sitting at $1 billion in market cap. You're not going to make 1,000x buying $1 billion market cap token. And I'm just being real with you guys. I sacrifice for Pulse. I know I'm not going to get 1,000x, but by being early to these ecosystem tokens, by investing in what was doing the best in Ethereum or what did the best on Arbitrum, when we see those type of cryptos build on Pulse, invest into them. Look into that. Now comes the opportunity where we have almost nobody building on PulseChain, but there's a lot of TVL and it's all skyrocketing. So they will come and they will start building on PulseChain. And when they start building on PulseChain, you have to be aware of what is actually building, what cryptos did well on other chains, research into some of those other prior narratives that played out in the other cycles, because that's what's going to play out again on PulseChain. It's all going to be the same. It's universal. It's just a new chain, a new ecosystem, but it's the most decentralized chain in crypto. And, people don't understand what that means yet. In the same way I've been and called so many narratives as they were early on, before they'd ever played out, before they went mainstream, I think that chains that are actually decentralized are one of those narratives to watch, and nobody's watching for them. Well, here's the perfect example of the one universal blue chip that is like the epitome of decentralization. So anyways, guys, this is the video I had for you. If you found value, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos. If you guys want to see anything that I'm doing inside of the market, whether it's just me posting free stuff on Twitter, links are in the description to go ahead and check out all of the socials. If anybody wants to actually see how I'm investing over the course of the cycles, you can also join my private group. We called all of these markets before they've been playing out. We've been, early to a number of different narratives. We've made a bunch of money off of our Arbitrum airdrop, and it's looking like this is only just getting started. And with this ecosystem, I see it so absolutely primed. I wanted to give you guys this video. I wanted to break down a thread that I made. I'll link it in the description for anybody that wants to go and actually read the entire thing yourself. But yeah, with that being said, I just appreciate the support. I appreciate all of the love from the Hex and PulseChain community I've received lately. I'm telling you guys right now, this is a winner in a way that most people just don't understand. And, I didn't fully understand at first, but I have nothing but full conviction right now. And that's why I've invested into these markets. I've invested into some of the tokens in this market. If you guys want to see which ones we're buying, selling, trading over this cycle, links are in the description to go ahead and sign up for my website. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.